What about Mr. Downtown Ray Melo? You're listening to the Entertainment Report on iHeartRadio, live from Orlando for Thursday, June 20th, 2024, delivering some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo, that's RAYMELO, on Twitter at The Enter Report, or on Instagram at The Entertainment Report. You can listen to the show anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com or your iHeart phone app, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Donald Sutherland, the Canadian actor whose weary, arresting screen presence spanned more than half a century of films from M.A.S.H to The Hunger Games, has died. He was 88. Son Kiefer Sutherland confirmed the death Thursday. No details were immediately available. He said on X, "I personally think one of the most important actors in the history of film, never daunted by a role, good, bad, or ugly. He loved what he did and did what he loved, and no one can ask for more than that." The tall and gaunt Sutherland, who flashed a grin that could be sweet or diabolical, was known for offbeat characters like Hawkeye Pierce in Robert Altman's M.A.S.H, the hippie tank commander in Kelly's Heroes, and the stone professor in Animal House. Before transitioning into a long career as a respected character actor, Sutherland epitomized the unpredictable anti-establishment cinema of the 1970s. He never stopped working, ultimately appearing in nearly 200 films and series. Over the decades, Sutherland showed his range in more buttoned-down but still eccentric roles in Robert Redford's Ordinary People and Oliver Stone's JFK. Most recently, he starred in the Hunger Games films. A memoir, Made Up but Still True, is due out in November. Sutherland told Charlie Rose in 1998, "I love to work. I passionately love to work. I love to feel my hand fit into the glove of some other character. I feel a huge time stop for me. I'm not as crazy as I used to be, but I'm still a little crazy." Born in St. John's, New Brunswick, Canada, Donald McNichol Sutherland was the son of a salesman and mathematics teacher. Raised in Nova Scotia, he was a DJ with his own radio station at the age of 14. He told the New York Times in 1981, "When I was 13 or 14, I really thought everything I felt was wrong and dangerous and that God was going to kill me for it. My father always said, 'Keep your mouth shut, Donnie, and maybe people will think you have character.'" Sutherland began as an engineering student at the University of Toronto, but switched to English and started acting in school theatrical productions. While studying, he met Lois Hardwick, an aspiring actress. They married in 1959, but divorced 7 years later. After graduating in 1956, Sutherland attended the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts to study acting. He began appearing in West End plays and British television. After a move in Los Angeles, a series of war films changed his trajectory. His breakout was The Dirty Dozens, 1967, in which he played Vernon Pinkley, the officer impersonating a psychopath. 1970 saw the release of both the World War II yarn, Kelly's Heroes, and M.A.S.H, a smash hit that catapulted Sutherland to superstardom. Sutherland told the Washington Post in 1970, "There's more challenge in character roles. There's longevity. A good character actor can show a different face in every film and not bore the public." If Sutherland had had his way, Altman would have been fired from M.A.S.H. He was unhappy with the director's unorthodox improvisational style, but the film caught on beyond anyone's expectations. Sutherland identified personally with its anti-war message. Outspoken against the Vietnam War, he, along with actress Jane Fonda and others, founded the Free Theaters Associates in 1971. Banned by the Army because of their political views, they performed in venues near military bases in Southeast Asia in 1973. He told the Los Angeles Times, "I thought I was going to be part of a revolution that was going to change movies and influence people." His career as a leading man peaked in the 1970s when he starred in films by the era's top directors, even if they didn't always do their best work with him. Sutherland, who frequently said he considered himself at the service of a director's vision, worked with Federico Fellini in 1976 as Fellini's Casanova, Bernardo Bertolucci's 1976-1900, Claude Cabral, 1978's Blood Relatives, and John Schlesinger's 1975 The Day of the Locusts. One of his finest performances came as a detective in Alan Palumbo's Clute in 1971. It was during filming that he met Jane Fonda, with whom He had a 3-year relationship to begin at the end of his second marriage to actress Shirley Douglas. He and Douglas divorced in 1971 after having twins Rachel and Kiefer, who was named after Warren Kiefer, the writer of Sutherland's first film, Castle of the Living Dead. Nicholas Roeg's psychological thriller film, Don't Look Now, 1973, was another high point. Sutherland starred with Julie Christie as a grieving married couple who moved to Venice after their daughter's death. The film included a famous explicit sex scene, artfully edited. Sutherland once said, "Nick and I thought that maybe I would die in the process, so much were we committed." His admiration for the film and Roeg was such that he and his next wife, actress Francine Rachette, named their firstborn child Roeg. Robert Redford's Ordinary People, 1980, also dealt with the loss of a child. His directorial debut, starring Sutherland as the father of a family destroyed by tragedy, won 4 Oscars, including Best Picture. Sutherland was never nominated for an Oscar, but received an honorary Oscar in 2017. He did win an Emmy in 1995 for the TV film Citizen X, and won 2 Golden Globes for Citizen X and the 2003 TV film Path to War. Sutherland's New York stage debut in 1981, though, was terrible. He played Humbert in Elber Abbey's adaptation of Vladimir Nabokov's Lolita, and the reviews were merciless, and it closed after a dozen performances. A down period in the 80s followed, with failures like the 1981 satire Gas and 1984's comedy Crackers. But Sutherland continued to work steadily. He had a brief and memorable role in JFK in 1991, and played track coach Bill Bowerman in 1998's Without Limits. Sutherland also increased work in television, memorably in HBO's Path to War, in which he played President Lyndon Johnson's Defense Secretary Clark Clifford. Sutherland was 88. From Software and Bandai Namco are gearing up for the release of Elden Ring's first and only DLC, Elden Ring's Shadow of the Erdtree. The highly anticipated paid expansion officially released Friday on PC, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series XS, and Xbox One. Players must have access to the DLC on Thursday, depending on the time zone. Publisher Bandai Namco shared a launch trailer for the DLC on Thursday, featuring the voice of Miquelia. The character is a demigod brother of Elden Ring's Melina and is central to the DLC's story. The official description reads, guided by Imperia Miquelia, players are beckoned to the Land of Shadow, a place obscured by the Erdtree, where the goddess Marika is first set foot. In these strange new lands, players discover the dark secrets of the worlds as they meet up with others who follow Miquela's footsteps with ulterior motives. Shadow of the Erdtree will introduce the new world, Land of Shadows, along with new weapons, equipment, weapon skills, magic, enemies, boss encounters, and plot lines. The DLC is available to preload on PlayStation, will download available on the PC and Xbox at launch time. A24 is teasing the new film The Front Row. The company shared a trailer for the movie Thursday featuring Brandy and Catherine Hunter. The Front Room is a psychological horror film based on the short story by Susan Hill. The adaptation is written by and directed by Max and Sam Eggers, the brothers of The Witch director Robert Eggers. Brandy stars as Belinda, a pregnant woman who must take on her evil mother-in-law, played by Hunter, after she moves in. Andrew Burnap and Neil Huff also star. The Front Room marks Brandy's return to the horror genre after starring in the 1998 slasher film I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. In addition, the film is the featured directorial debut of Max and Sam Eggers. Max Eggers' previous credits include co-writing The Lighthouse with Robert Eggers. The Front Room opens in theaters September 6. Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum can now be seen in the 90-second trailer for the 1960s NASA dramedy film Fly Me to the Moon. Greg Berlanti directed the film, which is set to open in theaters July 12th. Sony Pictures Entertainment described the movie as, quote, being set against the high-stakes backdrop of NASA's historic Apollo 11 moon landing. The official synopsis reads, Brought in to fix NASA's public image, Spark flies in all directions as marketing maven Kelly Jones, played by Johansson, wreaks havoc on launch director Cole Davis, played by Tatum's already difficult task. When the White House deems the mission too important to fail, Jones is directed to stage a fake moon landing as backup, and the countdown truly begins. The cast also includes Jim Rash, Anna Garcia, Donald Elise Watkins, Noah Robbins, Colin Woodell, Christian Zuber, Nick Dillenberg, Ray Romano, and Woody Harrelson. Colin Farrell says the Falcone crime family is dead, and he is now in charge in Thursday's 2-minute trailer for Max's The Penguin. However, the preview also shows some surviving Falcones, including Sophia, played by Christian Melotti, unwilling to give up their portion of the Gotham underworld without a fight. The DC Comics adaptation is set to premiere on the streaming service in September. Matt Reeves, who helmed the 2022 blockbuster The Batman, introduced Farrell as the Penguin, is executive producing the 8-episode series. The cast also includes Clancy Brown, Carmen Eogo, Renzi Filez, Michael Kelly, Shariel Agudashlo, Dietrich O'Connell, and Michael Zegan. Lauren LaFranc is the showrunner. The second half of the 5th and final season of Yellowstone is set to premiere November 10th on Paramount Network. Created by Tyler Sheridan and John Lindzen, the contemporary western is currently filming in Montana. No cast list has been disclosed yet. Previous seasons have starred Kevin Costner, Kelly Riley, Cole Hauser, Wes Bentley, and Kelsey Asbill. Costner previously said he would not return to the show because of his scheduling conflicts related to his 2-part movie, Horizon: An American Saga. However, last year's writers and directors strike postponed the filming of Yellowstone Season 6, leading to speculations Costner might actually return. Costner is still an executive producer of the series, which premiered in June of 2018. Yellowstone's prequels, 1883 and 1923, were released in 2001 and 2003, respectively. The Korean original series Hierarchy rose to number 1 in Netflix weekly chart for non-English TV series, the global streaming service said on Wednesday. The romantic drama starring rookie actors garnered 6.3 million total views during the June 10th to 16th period. Released on June 7th, the 7-part series follows the story of a student harboring a secret. He transfers to an elite high school where the top students rules with strict law and order and disrupts the one solid hierarchy. Meanwhile, 3 other Korean shows made it to the top 10. The Atypical Family secured 3rd place, and the dark comedy The 8 Show took 6th place, and Queen of Tears landed in 8th place. The British crime drama Grantchester is set to return for a 10th season on ITV in the United Kingdom and PBS in the United States next year. Filming on the fresh run of episodes is to begin July. Robson Green and Rishi Nair will play Detective Inspectors Gordy Keating and Reverend Alfie Cotteram, respectively. The 9th season saw the departure of Tom Brinney's character, the Reverend Will Davenport. Returning cast members will include Al Weaver as Leonard Finch, Tessa Peake-Jones as Mrs. C, Casey Ainsworth as Kathy Keating, Oliver Dimsdale as Daniel Marlowe, Nick Bramell as Jack Campbell, Bradley Hill as Detective Constable, Larry Peters, and Melissa Johns as Miss Scott. Writer and executive producer Daisy Collam said in a statement Thursday that shows a testament to our lovely team, the cast and crew. So grateful and proud that we get to come back together for our 10th season and another glorious summer in Grantchester. Danny Garcia was crowned the winner of Season 21 of Bravo's Top Chef on Wednesday night. Garcia, is the executive chef at New York Saga Hospitality Group, beat out his fellow finalists Daniel Jacobs and Savannah Miller for the $250,000 grand prize. Garcia said, I'm honored to be the first Puerto Rican, Dominican, and Muslim top chef. I take immense pride in the dishes I've presented during this competition as they embody my evolution as a chef. I dedicate this win to my mentor, the late chef Jamal James Kent, whose steadfast support, leadership, guidance, and friendship has been instrumental in shaping the chef that I've become today. Kristen Kish hosted this season of the cooking competition. The judges were Tom Colicchio and Gail Simmons. The rapper Travis Scott was arrested Thursday for disorderly intoxication in Miami Beach, Florida. Miami Beach police said they were called to a disturbance on a yacht in Miami Beach Marina at 12:44 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and found the 33-year-old Scott, born Jacques Bermond Webster II, standing by the dock yelling at the vessel occupants, and at first complied with police commands and eventually left the scene under threat of arrest. He was arrested on disorderly intoxication and trespass charges when he returned to the scene about 5 minutes later. Police said that he was irate and screaming profanities, and the yacht owner wanted him to leave. He admitted drinking alcohol and said, "It's Miami," police report says. Scott was released on bond of $500 and $150 after being taken to the Turner Guilford's Correctional Center. Scott has had hits in his music career, including his 2015 debut Rodeo, and has 2 children with Kylie Jenner. In May, Scott reached settlements in all but one of the 10 wrongful death suits stemming from the 2021 Astroworld Festival crowd stampede in Houston. The victims range from age 9 to 27. Settlements terms were not released. Nearly 5,000 people reported injuries in the concert stampede, and hundreds of lawsuits were filed. In June 2023, a grand jury declined to indict Scott and organizers of the festival. Not content with merely taking a victory lap after winning his battle against fellow superstar Drake, Kendrick Lamar turned his Juneteenth pop-out concert at the Forum into a cathartic live-stream celebration of Los Angeles unity. Lamar curated a 3-hour concert featuring a mix of up-and-coming LA rappers and stars including Tyler, the Creator, Steve Lacy, and YG. When it was his turn to take the stage, the 37-year-old rapper powered through a set with Black Hippie collaborators Schoolboy Q, Ab Soul, and J-Rock, and performed his Drake diss song Euphoria and 616 in LA, then was joined on stage by Dr. Dre. The 2 West Coast Titans performed Still DRE and California Love, and Drake called Lamar one of the greatest that ever did it, before quieting the roaring crowd by requesting a moment's silence. It was a misdirect. He then delivered the 6 Cents quote that opens Lamar's chart-topping Not Like Us. I see dead people. A crowd of 17,000 that included The Weeknd, LeBron James, Ayo Adibri, and Rick Ross rapped along to every word of the Binding But You and DJ Mustard's production, which Lamar restarted twice after the first verse and performed 4 times in full. And finally, the Queen music catalog, along with a number of other rights, is in the process of being acquired by Sony Music for £1 billion, around $1.27 billion, 2 sources confirmed to Variety. The news was first reported by Hits. According to their report, the only revenue not covered in the deal is for live performances, which founding members Brian May and Roger Taylor, who are still actively touring with singer Adam Lambert, will retain. One other player was said to be very close to the bidding, but stopped short at $900 million. Queen's music catalog is among the most valuable of the rock era, with classics like Bohemian Rhapsody, Another One Bites the Dust, Radio Gaga, 39, Somebody Love, and You're My Best Friend, as well as the Pineiro Stadium Shakers, We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions. The songs are globally popular and enormously lucrative. The success of the 2018 biopic, Bohemian Rhapsody, shows the potential for the group's name and likeness rights. The likeness or likelihood of the Jukebox musical that could open in London or on Broadway and then tour indefinitely. The catalog, which has been in play for several years and inching towards Sony for the past few months, is complicated by the group's recorded music rights for the U.S. and Canada, which were acquired by Disney, but at an undisclosed price. At some point in the 2000s, after their initial $10 million licensing deal that was struck in 1981, those rights will remain with Disney in perpetuity, although certain of the band members' remaining royalties from them will go to Sony once the deal closes. Similarity, the group's distribution deal, which is currently with Universal, will go on to Sony in all territories outside the U.S. and Canada when it expires in 2026 and 2027. And that is the Entertainer Report for Thursday, June 20th, 2024. I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Melo. I'll be back tomorrow to deliver some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. You can follow the show on Facebook, facebook.com/The Entertainer Report. That's with Ray Melo. That's RAYMELO. On Twitter at The Enter Report, or on Instagram at The Entertainer Report. You can listen to this episode or any previous episodes of The Entertainment Report anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com or your iHeart phone app. Search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Good night, and God bless you all.